These books are from the 1950s and they're children's books. They're Bonnie books, that's the name of the company that produced them, or their trading name, and they're television books. This was highly unusual, particularly in the 1950s. Now each book has an illustrated cover, and inside a little story, quite a simple one, they're for quite young children, with a lot of illustrations. But there's a particular thing that makes these books unusual, or unique even, and that is that they have a wheel, printed wheel, fixed with a rivet, and that's attached to the front cover. And then on the front cover there's a little screen area. You can just see the car there. Got to get this at the right angle so the light doesn't reflect off it. And here on the right there's a little bit cut out from the cover to allow you to turn the wheel. Now as you turn the wheel at a slow rate, you can get the impression of them moving, the items moving. This one's a bit worn, so my finger keeps slipping off. The same applies to the other ones. I'm going to look particularly at the choo-choo train and see how that looks. I'm going to hold it up and hope we can see it better. As you turn the wheel on the book, can you see the wheels of that car turning? And the logs seem to be bouncing on this wagon. And so as you turn the wheel, there's the crossing gate. I've just come to a part where it's been heavily worn, so there's no grip on it. Crossing gate opening and closing. So you get a sort of animation effect. And here comes the main train, and sadly I can't turn it. It's been so heavily used at the side here. You see there's hardly any of this left, and as you try and turn it, it just sort of crumbles away. Well, it is about 60 years old. Now this animation effect seems to be achieved by the fact that there are printed on this little transparent panel some radial lines there that are permanently in the same position. Then on the inside of this wheel there are some very particular graphics which also have a lined effect. You see it there with the smoke of the engine and the wheels. The body of the engine doesn't have it, so there's no animation in the body of the engine, just the smoke and the wheels. And by these lines interacting in some way with the lines that are printed on the inside of the screen, here it's with a couple of men on this old type of wagon that was powered by a man on the end of each rocker arm, each end of a rocker arm, commonly seen in cartoons and old films and things like that, old comedy films. And this one, see, has striped bits there, so they will all appear to move in some way. I'm going to move it this time by cheating, by having my fingers on the inside of it rather than using the bit you're supposed to turn. It will make the book shake a bit, but I hope you can see there's some movement at the end of the crossing arm. Now as the engine comes on, the smoke there seems to sort of puff a bit. The wheels seem to turn. You really don't get the effect very well on a camera. It just doesn't work very well, I'm afraid. You can sort of see it shaking a bit, and perhaps with the sort of camera's own use of frames it might lose it a bit. So here's the 3 examples that I've got that I think are the most common. There's farm animals, the choo-choo train, and Hopalong Cassidy. We didn't have much Hopalong Cassidy in England, but we had heard of him. Now we got these, this is the main problem with them, is that the wheel comes off completely. So I would have to put in an alternate sort of hub there to spin them against, plus the printed part, which you can see more clearly now, can itself come loose. Here it's held by sellotape. But again, we can see some of the striped parts of the diagrams, and all of these, like the legs of the horse and the head of the horse there, should appear to move as it's rotated. It was really quite an innovative system for its day. I don't suppose many children with the animation quality, the high definition on their tablets or whatever, would think very much of it, but as a child we used to love them.